So, what happens when you as a citizen are just, too exhausted to care about politics, but politics just refuses to leave you alone?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're unpacking a single, deeply raw piece of text today. It's this intensely personal account from a taxpayer hitting their absolute breaking point.
Right, and specifically, it's about a random passing encounter with the really provocative political figure Rasmuspaludan.
Exactly. But to be totally clear to you listening, our mission here isn't to take side on the specific politics of this figure. We're looking at this impartially.
Right, because what makes this source so compelling is the raw anatomy of the voters' reaction. We're looking at how pure, fiscal fatigue weaponizes into this desire for political retaliation.
Yeah, like how does a totally random encounter trigger a rapid spiral from pure exhaustion to literally plotting someone's political destruction?
Well, let's start with that exhausting encounter.
Yeah.
The author describes spotting Plutan, I think, twice in a single evening.
Yeah, twice.
And their immediate reaction isn't ideological outrage. It's just heavy, draining fatigue. I mean, they state point blank that they just don't have the time or energy to spend on him in the moment.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you're just trying to get home, right?
Right. It's this really visceral, impartial look at how encountering severe societal friction feels physically draining before it even becomes a political thought.
Okay, let's unpack this because it's basically like running into a walking, talking stress test when your social battery is already at zero.
That is exactly it. It's exhausting. But that sheer physical exhaustion doesn't just dissipate, right? It finds a target.
Oh, right. It connects to the deeper systemic grievance, money.
Yes. For this author, the exhaustion instantly crystallizes into a grievance about taxes. They express this totally unfiltered frustration that Paludan's demonstrations require heavy police protection.
Right, they complain specifically that he uses, quote, so much of our fucking tax money.
Yeah. The tension really lies in this feeling of being forced as a taxpayer to financially subsidize someone who generates so much societal friction.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting to me. I mean, is the outrage truly about the public budget?
What do you mean?
Like, you can't arrest a guy just for being annoying, right? And you can't just change the laws of free speech.
Sure.
So is pointing at tax money just the most tangible way for citizens to articulate feeling totally politically powerless? Like, you look at a police barricade and realize, well, I bought that.
I actually disagree that it's just a proxy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the financial aspect is the core insult here.
Hmm.
I mean, it's one thing to endure a spectacle as a passive observer, but it's another entirely to be handed the bill for their security detail.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
When a citizen feels forced to financially subsidize the very person making them miserable, it violates a fundamental sense of civic fairness. The money isn't just a symbol for powerlessness,
All right.
It's the actual injury.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that financial injury completely flips the script on how they react.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the source concludes with the author walking away and considering 1,000 ways they can, quote, destroy him politically.
Which is a huge psychological pivot.
Yeah, it's a drastic shift from someone who just moments earlier was too tired to even look at him.
Exactly. The author transforms their raw exasperation and that financial grievance into a desire for strategic systemic counteraction.
Right.
They go from being this exhausted, passive observer bleeding tax dollars to an active agent seeking to neutralize the source of that drain. It's a desperate attempt to reclaim power.
So to summarize the journey we've seen in this source, we move from a physically draining encounter to financial outrage over tax money to the ultimate impulse for political destruction.
Yeah, it really maps out that pipeline of civic tension.
It does. And again, just as a reminder, we're not taking sides on the politics, but understanding this raw emotional pipeline is just so crucial to understanding modern civic life. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought for you to chew on. If our deepest motivations for political strategy are born out of sheer exhaustion and financial resentment, how does that fundamentally change the types of solutions we ultimately pursue?